Let me just
Hmm?
start and say it like this. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to, I guess we'll call this the Houston Comedy Film Festival Uncut Edition. My name is Roselyn Omaka. I'm the new festival director of the Houston Comedy Film Festival, and I am with Jeremy, who is a finalist for Best Horror. Oh, can't talk. I'm trying to merge. Best Comedy Horror Screenplay. Another night at Beavers. Let's talk
Yes.
about it.
Yes. What would you like to know?
What inspired you? Because first of all, if you want to tell everybody a little bit about it, because it's already interesting enough when you combine strippers with satanic. What's going on?
Yeah, so the elevator pitch is it's a slow Christmas Eve at a tiny little church turned strip club in the middle of nowhere that happens to sit on the edge of hell. And it gets invaded by these satanic snot monsters that kind of resemble mutated reindeer. And it's all up to the strippers who all can't get along inside the club and their low life customers to kind of join forces and battle these beasts and prevent the apocalypse and save humanity.
I
Um,
mean, I'm with it. I'm with it. What was your thought process for coming behind this storyline? Because I know everything always has a deeper meaning, and I'm here for it.
well, this is an idea that I came up with a number of years ago. I started out in indie film in 2007, directed my first feature in 2009, and it was probably shortly thereafter that I came up with the idea for this. And I'm a big fan of siege movies, like something to do with like the Alamo or like Rio Bravo, Feast,
Mhm.
um, Tales from the Crypt, Demon Knight. I love anything where Assault on Precinct 13 is one of my absolute favorite movies. I'm a huge John Carpenter fan. And so when you can take this kind of disparate group of people who really can't get along and you set them in a situation where it's like a pressure cooker and
Yeah.
they have to come together in order to save each other and battle for the fate of humanity.
Yeah.
I really like that dynamic. And originally, it was supposed to be a different script entirely. It was supposed to be set in a dystopian future where there was like a civil war going on, and it was two
Yeah.
opposite sides of armies that were
Mhm.
supposed to be kind of held in this church. And I paired that back and I kind of wrote on it for a little while and wasn't satisfied with it. And then in 2015, when Wes Craven passed away,
Mhm.
that for whatever reason kind of really kicked me in the ass and said that I needed to finish this script. And it went through a bunch of different permutations before it became what it is now.
Yeah.
And I'm also a big sucker for Christmas horror. And anytime there is another Christmas horror, I'm all about it. And for me, I love the aesthetics
Yes.
of the Christmas lights and all the fun, jolly ho 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 stuff mixed with ultra violence. So and you can't get more uh you know conflicting worldviews than a Christmas movie that happens to have a demonic creature.
You're
So
going to get people's attention right now with that. And I'm like, I wanted to start with that. So people that are like, whoa, I want to pay attention. Because like Deliverance and all this other stuff that's out right now
mhm,
with all these different genres. And I'm like, with
yeah.
comedy. And then as soon as you say all of these different elements, it's perfect. Um, Question, are you speaking to anybody right now in terms of your script? And I want to say this on camera. Like, what are your plans of where you want to
Okay.
take?
So like I said, I've been in indie film since 2007.
Mhm.
I have a production company which used to be First Week of Winter Films. We've rebranded and now we're Nothing Interesting. Because if anybody asks like what are you watching, Nothing Interesting. So anyway, the short story is there are no current plans in place. I originally wanted to film this as my third feature film
Okay.
in 2020.
Mhm.
I had actually raised a little bit of money myself and was going to fund it myself, and kind of started the wheels going there. But then, of course, COVID happened,
Yeah.
and the whole world shut down.
Yeah.
And so I put those plans on hold. And plus the script wasn't 100% where I wanted it anyway.
Okay.
And then I got the chance to option a script from a company in Florida uh, to do an action movie. And we went through the process of raising money for that. And I hooked up with a production company. We wound up getting delayed by COVID 3 separate times. And then trying to line everybody's schedules up has been kind of a nightmare ever since.
Yeah.
And that is still in process. So I would say that I will probably make that film next.
Okay.
Since it's kind of relatively far along in the process, we're just trying to kind of cross some T's and dot some I's to get it in front of camera. And so with Another Night at Beavers, since I'm waiting for everything to go on this other feature, I said, well, I'm going to dust off, the Night at Beavers script, try and get it into some competitions, and it's actually doing really well. In fact, just before we hopped on, I found out
Not
that
surprised.
I unfortunately I didn't advance into the semifinals, but I did make it past the second round at Austin Film Festival, which is huge. Only 20% of their entries even make it that far. So it's pretty validating.
Yes.
So yeah, I said short story. No, the long story short is that currently there's no financing in place. There's no real production team ready to go. I do have connections with a bunch of different production teams in LA and Vegas and Ohio, of all places. So I'm sure it will come together. The thing is, though, it's one of those situations where the aesthetic, particularly with regards to the location, is very specific. And it can't be that we just randomly find a church that will let us have all of this debauchery going on. Or find a strip club where we could do the same. It's got to be both together. It's got to be a church that got turned into a strip club. So basically, we're going to have to build sets. So
there's this place in Houston you just remind me of that's literally not far from where I am, and it's a church, old church that they converted into a movie theater. And like,
it's 14 pews.
Yes.
And actually I had considered maybe talking to them about the possibility. And it depends. I mean, like I said, I've got friends in production companies in LA and Vegas. So to go ahead and say that we would film it in Texas is kind of premature. Obviously
just ideas like that,
Yeah. And right now with me being based in Texas, obviously it would be easiest for me to film it here. Unfortunately, sometimes logistically it's not really possible. I don't know if anyone else that's watching is a Houston filmmaker. Sometimes it can be kind of difficult to find locations that are willing to let you kind of go a little crazy without breaking your bank, and I come from the micro budget world, so nobody has any money. But with this, ideally we would have some money because, it's a lot of practical effects. It's a lot of creatures, a lot of gore. And again, it's a church turned into a strip club. It is supposed to be a dilapidated church. So it's got to be very specific, and it's got to be something that we can film, for like 2 months, so we got to be able to build the sets and destroy them and get blood all over them and everything. So getting a place that is currently open is probably not a good idea because we can't really contend with their working hours. We have to kind of have control for a decent amount of time. So
you're making me this is good because I mean I'm in Houston and there's so many filmmakers and also like construction, and so you're making me do some thinking. So we'll talk.
Oh yeah, and like I said, I've used a lot of locations in Houston my entire career so far, and it's a matter of money and logistics. So who knows? Obviously, I want to make this
resources.
Yeah.
maybe to help cut the budget,
Mhm.
maybe what you are able to offer, somebody else needs it and they can help you and they
Yeah,
can.
and that's what this industry is all about, particularly on this level is, it's all in who you know, and we all help each other on everybody's, productions. I've done it since 2007, so I've worked with a number of filmmakers in Houston, Austin, and like I said, Vegas, LA. So we'll see.
And I wanna ask you a question because you've been doing this for quite some time,
Mhm.
and there are so many newbies that are coming on board, and I feel like you have a lot of wisdom within this space. And could you please share any lessons that you've learned within the industry that maybe you can help some people avoid?
Yeah. So the biggest thing that I think I wish I'd have known when I started was just absolutely be kind, and be flexible. You get people that come in that they're so rigid on their vision that they will not compromise whatsoever. And like I can appreciate that, but you're just going to run up against brick wall after brick wall. So you have to be kind, you have to be flexible. And some of the best filmmaking advice I've heard is wear comfortable shoes. That is one of the biggest things because you're going to be working for very, very long hours. Often, especially in Texas, it's going to be on locations where you do not have AC or you can't run the AC for sound and you're under stage lights and everybody's miserable because they're going, 16 hours with very few breaks, and you're just paying people either in credit or gas money or food. And especially as a director, it's important to keep the energy up, keep your troops motivated, and understand like at the end of the day, we are having fun, like one of my favorite podcasts is this a podcast called Making Movies is Hard, and it absolutely is hard, but it's very much worth it. And if you're not having fun working your ass off, then you're doing something wrong. And again, we're not trying to cure cancer. We're not trying to, send somebody to the moon. It's not brain surgery. It's make believe. It is playtime. It doesn't mean don't take your work seriously. And I often tell people like take my work seriously. I don't take myself that seriously because
Same.
ultimately, we're all in this together, so basically surround yourself with really good people and treat them right, and for God's sake feed them. At the very least, feed your crew.
Man, I think that right there, everybody that's listening, pay attention because I know within the time that I've been in this industry, everything that he has said, it is valid. It is true. Remember that. And being kind goes a long, long way.
Yeah,
Long,
it really
long way.
does, especially when you work in the types of movies that I make, which are typically exploitation films, horror, sci-fi, action, where there's a lot of really kind of messed up things going on, or you're asking somebody to portray these really raw emotions. You have to be very kind, and you have to be willing to give them that grace, because again, at the end of the day, we're playing make believe, but especially when it comes to actors, they are the ones that are in front of camera. They have to be on. And if you can't be kind to them, if you're just going to be a jackass to your actors, then you deserve to get kicked in the ass, which is what's going to happen. I hate nothing more than hearing stories about directors completely mistreating their cast and crew. And, just because it's your name on the film by credit doesn't mean that you did it yourself. You have to have that base. You have to have that team that is willing to go into battle with you.
Yes.
Otherwise, they're going to turn on you and you're going to have mutiny on your hands. So, again, just be kind and be flexible.
Man. Spoken like a true boss, a true leader, because that's really what it is. I know some of these guys, they don't think about it. We're having fun, but
Mhm.
like with being a director, like you were leading
Yeah.
like this whole thing. And so that goes a long way, especially if you're wanting to make this a continuous thing, sustainable. We
Mhm.
want to have fun with the people that we work with. So even some of these crews and these movies that you see the same exact people working on the same movies. And it's like, why is that the case? Because
Exactly, because we find people that we really gel with and we can have the fun with, but also get the hard work out of,
yes,
and we all wind up talking to one another too.
yes,
If there's anybody who acts out of sorts, or if they're just a jackass on set, then that's going to get around,
yeah,
and I've dealt with my fair share of jackasses.
yeah,
And I've run people off my set who were being jackasses.
good,
And
good.
and so my Rolodex has gotten pretty thin. Oh God, I'm dating myself with the Rolodex reference. My contact list has gotten thinned out over the years because of that.
Mm.
Again, yeah, just be kind.
You just have a level of excellence, and it's not even just within the work itself, but it's just like how you treat people, it matters. Because I know at least whenever I walk away from people, they're either going to feel one or two ways, maybe even indifferent, but I would like for them to feel better whenever they leave my presence.
Same. And I've often said, I'd rather have the extremes than someone who just kind of doesn't care, or is
Yeah.
kind of ambivalent about your presence, and I've had my fair share of haters. And that's
Oh,
fine,
I'm
you
sure.
know.
Oh, I'm sure. You're putting work in. You're putting
Yeah,
work in.
and that's the thing. If you don't have haters, then you're probably not doing something right. And I've had my fair share of people who have, expressed their displeasure
Mm.
at my work, and again, that's fine. It's not for everybody,
Yeah.
but you know what? I have fun doing it, and I'm only on this rock for a limited time. I'm gonna have as much fun as I can. I'm gonna squeeze every drop out of life that I possibly can.
The way you just said that, I'm gonna sit on this rock for as long as I can. I haven't
Yep.
heard of it like that. Look at you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you a whole I'm gonna need you. No, but Jeremy, how can thank you for taking this time to talk to me. And I'm wondering, what's the best way for anybody in Houston? Because Houston people, how can we stay connected with you?
I'm on all the social medias. I mean, on Facebook, if you just look for Jeremy Sumrall Flickmaker. My name is spelled JeremySumrall, Flickmaker, Flickmaker. I also have a website, which is, www.jeremysumrallflickmaker.com, which has got all of, it's got trailers for the stuff that I've done. It's got a mock trailer for this sleazy, absolutely sleazy exploitation flick called Cannibal Call Girls from Hell. It's got some music videos that I've directed, including the first part of a trilogy that I directed a little while ago for this deathwave group called The Russian White. The first video is out. The second video comes out in just a few days. Like I said, it's a 3-part trilogy. And yeah, I'm on, Instagram. I'm on Twitter. Everything is out there. I mean, you can all find it through my Facebook or through my website. And I'm a whore for Facebook, so I'm on there constantly. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
I love it. I love it. I'll make sure that I link in all your descriptions at the bottom of this video so no one misses it. And thank you so much for your time.
Hey, thank you. And this has been a blast, and I'm very honored to be a finalist for
You
Houston
sound like
Comedy
me.
Film Festival.
Houston Comedy Film.
It's been a long day.
You sound like me. I had a tongue twister when I started, but no, you
Yeah.
deserve it. Definitely